You're seeing a quick snapshot of your risks, your high priority risks, and how you can address them. It's a collaboration tool that allows you to be all on the same page across your water system, pulling in factors within and without the water system to allow you take the necessary actions to keep your water system in um, a resilient state. Resilience is not binary. You're constantly working towards resilience. But with the resilience tool from Varuna, you can absolutely match the dynamic nature of the world and the water systems. And with climate change, you can now match that dynamic state with a dynamic tool that gives you the true state of your water system at almost all times, real time or near real time as possible. When a user, a water system operator, a water system leader comes into their account, what they see is either their water system, if it's just one, or in some cases where they have multiple water systems under their jurisdiction, they see these multiple water systems in their risk profile. What they can then do is go into more detail about the specific water system they're looking at. And before I dive into the functionality of the tool, the point here is that the level of preparedness and understanding of your water system allows you as an operator using the Varuna tool to either manage your risks, develop emergency response plans that are dynamic, i.e., any changes in your system state will be reflected in the new plan that is generated. And you can also start to track your environmental justice performance in the tool. So the first part of the tool I'll go into is the risk management element of the resilience tool. And what this allows you to do is to very quickly see what internal risks you're experiencing, what external risks you're experiencing, and the consequences of those risks are sort of reflected in the higher bar for a risk that is higher for you. And with the risk ranking, the lower your score, the more risky your system is. With any of these internal, external, or system risks, you can dive deeper into seeing what your internal risks are across the various parameters, the signals that we focus on. Asset age, it's an aggregate of whether you have old assets that are failing or even new assets that are failing. In this demo case, the risk of asset age being a factor is low. And you can go down the line to see that leakage frequency and leakages is a high risk likelihood internally for this water system. The user can take notes and share notes with other users of the tool. And the same applies. You can do the same for the external risks. The average income in your jurisdiction area impacts affordability. Affordability is an external risk that wasn't being tracked before, and we pull this data from different sources, some in real time, some near real time for external and systemic risks. For example, rainfall severity is a metric we pull from NOAA, for example. And then waterborne disease presence in your water system, which can be found in the system vectors. We pull that at the frequency that the CDC updates their own database. And we just written scripts to populate that for your water system. And so you see internal, external system, and then you see a full report. And it's a very quick visualization of where your highest risk factors are. In this case, for example, there's a high risk in this demo under water rights. And what that means is that you as a water system might not own the water rights in where you're drawing your source water from, and you need to track that because once availability reduces, you will be impacted by that. So we track that for a water system. And all these feed into their risk ranking and resilience score. You can pull up a full report and rank based on risk or the budget allocated to address that risk. And as you address the risks, you come in to update your risk score for the vector, and consequently, your risk profile changes. You can download the report and share with your water board if you need them to make decisions about what risks they want you to spend money to address. And the beauty of the tool in this case, the value we found is you're now going to your board with the most up to date reflection of your risks and consequently the prioritization of work for the water system to get it into a resilient state. And the management of the risk is through taking actions where you can save all the files related to addressing that risk in here. And another thing I'll note, we've populated the recommendations with, in some cases, like cybersecurity risk, based on where you are, there are standard approaches you can take, and we provide those recommendations automatically. So I'll go back to the main page here and very quickly touch on, and you can generate this report and share with your team or with any stakeholders that are interested in the information. Two key things to note: when you update or when our data that we're pulling real time updates your risk overview, your score will change and it will create a new risk profile for you as a water system automatically and notify you. And you will have an audit trail of all the risk profiles that have been generated based on any updates that happen. And you can also, while this is a step above the the typical emergency response plans that water systems have, which are static and as mandated by AWARE 2018, what we've done is we allow you to also generate an emergency response plan through the tool. You fill out all the information where it is not automatically filled by our system. And I won't go through filling the whole thing, but the idea here is the emergency response plan you generate from here satisfies the mandate for AWARE 2018 and exceeds it because you can attach your real-time risk overview along the vectors that we are covering for you. One final thing I'll mention here is we've also done some work on tracking violations in a water system, the demographic data in that water system, and any capital improvement projects that are happening in the water system. And consequently, what a water system technician or operator using our tool can get is a clear understanding of whether the capital being spent is matching the violations that they are seeing, or the capital being spent is addressing the risks, especially as it relates to underserved communities within that water system. And this was as a result of conversations with a few of our customers who are now paying a lot more attention to the environmental justice element here. And it's actually been beneficial to have this now that the EPA is going to start mandating environmental justice tracking, as agreed with the Justice Department a few weeks ago. So that is the tool in as quickly as I can go through it.